And with that, the 2024 race season is off to a start here in Northern California. This is our first crit of the year, first race of the year up here in NorCal. It's the Cal Aggie Crit. It's in this nice park venue in Sacramento. So I'm going to take you through a lap here to begin with. This venue might look familiar. We usually do at least a couple races on it every year, but it's in Land Park up in Sacramento, and it's cutting through a golf course. So the road is wide open the whole time. The pavement is a little janky if you like go in the gutter, but overall not bad. The course is pretty wide open. This whole part you see here is this super wide open power section. And then there's a few turns in quick succession to each other on the backside that make this course a little more interesting. I don't think the turns are technical enough to make this like a breakaway course. Like I think the field is usually going to be faster here, but it gives people hope. You can see one guy going off the front there already, and we're coming up towards the first corner here. I really like this outside line into it, going through the leaves. You could usually stay off your brakes and get a few spots back. I think I was being a little hesitant just because it's first corner of the year, really. And then after that, you come into a couple of right-handers in a row. These are not that consequential. There's a ton of room on the outside of them, too, so you can take them super wide. And then there's a little left-hand bend in the road. I would barely call this one a corner. And then we'll come up to the last turn, which is a right-hander. And probably like the most proper crit feeling turn. It's got like curbs on both sides. Feels like you're actually racing a crit. And then after that, it goes back into that home straight, which is super wide open and just slowly meanders its way around where you can really get on the gas. Coming through the technical section, it was a challenge when the field would bunch up. Like we're not going that fast through here, and so you had to deal with some poor line choices and some poor cornering. It was a P1-2-3 field, so we had a whole mix of abilities. But this race is, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10 coming down to a field sprint, and so that's what I was playing it for. And field sprinting in an hour-long crit means you get like 50 minutes of nothing prior to the sprint. So I decided to keep this entertaining and make it more useful training time. I was going to try out riding in different parts of the Peloton, just kind of get a feel for being back in the pack. So you can see the group is way strung out in front of us right now. Pretty much at the back, there's maybe one person behind me. This Terran rider is also trying to do the same thing, a tail gunning, which basically means we're going to sit at the very back and we are going to let gaps open going into the corner. So you see I'm backing off early and just coasting into the corner. And then you're not going to brake and you're going to just carry your momentum through the corner. And so I passed several guys there just carrying momentum through the corner better. And then on this longer strung out part, I'm just going to sit in and conserve my energy. I'm not going to try to move up and burn matches there. I'm just going to keep waiting till the corners, letting gaps open into the corners so that I can close them through the corner because I'm confident in my ability to go through the corners, and that'll keep me on the group. And so this is a pretty good strategy on this course, honestly. It was pretty easy riding back here, and as long as the group slowed up, you could get a choice moment to move up. Like right now, the group is single file. That's an awful time to move up. And like if you had waited and this is what it was like for the last few laps, like you would never get your chance to move up. So you do have to move up eventually. But that's pretty easy to do on this course, which I'll show you in a second how easy it was to go from back to front at the right moment. So you can see it's full gas here, but we're not fretting because we know that there's a corner about to come up. And everybody in front of us is going to brake going into that corner, and we're going to ease off coming into the corner so we have a gap to corner into, and we'll catch right back onto the back of the field. And so, yeah, here we are. I'm letting this gap open, knowing these guys are going to brake, and you'll see here, we're going to swoop up the inside, I think, and get all that ground back. Yep. Look at this. Everybody is making a big jump out of the corner now, and I'm just being smooth because I got to carry my momentum through without braking. So Now I'm going to show you, we're still at the back here. We moved up a few spots, but um, see the field is all the way across the road here. When the field does that, that means they're going slow. And so I'm going to take that opportunity to just keep pedaling easy up the right side here. And look at that. We just went from like last 10 wheels to first 5 in a field of, I think, 60 people. So picking your moments, it's really easy. I didn't spend any extra energy doing that, whereas if I had tried to do that earlier when it was all single file, I would have had to spend a lot more energy. So now that I was up at the front, I rode up here for a little bit. This field was easiest to ride in like the first 10 wheels or the last 10 wheels. Riding in the middle, you had a whole bunch of like slinky effect, and you had to dig really hard out of corners, and that's just wasting energy. So ended up trying to ride mostly at the front or at the back until we were coming into the finish. So I'm going to jump ahead to a couple laps to go here and show you how the race played out. So there was a breakaway off the front, 2 guys, and they actually got like a pretty good gap. I think it got all the way up to 30 seconds, but the field really ticked it up in the last few laps in terms of pace, and the gap is rapidly coming down. But the guys are still off the front for now. So I think, yeah, this is the last corner we're about to come into to go, and I'm definitely a bit far back. I'd made an effort around maybe like 8 or 9 to go to get up to the front, and there's just like a couple of swarms. I think they were all coming into the last corner where I just like wasn't really in like full crit mode and just like let wheels go. But you see it, like guys are going across the road here, so it's not like crazy hard right now. So I'm going to just keep pedaling up the left side here and get those spots back so we can get into a good position coming into the sprint, since we've only got a couple of laps left. And so you can see just like that, up at the front amongst the guys that I know are going to be there at the end of the race. Maybe a few wheels too far back, but we're much better than we were a second ago. And knowing at this point it's going to be really important to take these corners. You want to hold your ground through them and make sure you conserve good momentum, because if you brake too much, you're going to have to do a big effort out of the corner, and every time you do one of those efforts, it's going to take energy out of your legs for your sprint. So I gave some spots back on this lap. That was not great. The last lap, I ended up having a pretty good run up the inside on the short way around the arch there and put myself into a pretty good position into the top 10. But I could have helped myself a lot more on this second to last lap if I had held position a little better. Yeah, here's the corners, and get a pretty good line through the middle there. Unfortunately, my GoPro had an issue with the memory card, and it cut the last clip, which was the last like lap and change of the course. So we're coming up towards 1 to go, but my GoPro is going to die, so I didn't have it. Ended up getting up into like a top 10 position, but had a guy come under me in a corner that really killed all my momentum on the last lap and didn't really get to make a run at it. But happy with it for the first race of the year, and excited for more, so stay tuned.